Virgo, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early March 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Virgo collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Virgos in early March 2026? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Virgo in early March. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. Hopefully. Usually the cards pop out real quick for you. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. I like this. We have this magician, and it does have some similarities to the magician in the tarot deck, but there are some differences with this one because this one could deal with sleight of hand and illusion. Intriguing. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the March subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this dapper individual there doing a bunch of magic tricks. So as I already mentioned, it does have a lot of similarities to the magician in the tarot deck, where a big thing I think about with that is spirituality and a lot of inner work and mastering oneself. The magician is really strong when it comes to controlling your fate, controlling your future, how a situation moves forward. But the biggest thing is manifestation, creating. I always say the material world is pliable, right? It's like a ball of clay. So whenever I see the magician, it's like, okay, I can have an effect on what happens or what comes next, which is usually pretty good. So just know if you haven't been praying or manifesting, now could be a good time when this card's here. But the difference with this one is the tricks, right? Like this person's literally doing a magic trick. And magicians, they use sleight of hand, right? Where they're like, hey, look at this hand while the other hand is doing something different. Or it could represent illusion. So hopefully there's not something or a situation that you might not be seeing the core of it, or hopefully there's not like illusion or secrecy around something right now. We'll take a look and see if it shows up within the reading itself. Then we'll dig into that for sure. But if you just want to take the positive message from this, it's great for manifesting and creating your future, which I really love. Any spiritual endeavor as well. So we'll let him chill over there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. Shuffle it up one time here for the beautiful Virgo collective. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. There was tons of karmic energy at play, and the reading was titled Karma Gets Served. Now, that's not necessarily always a bad thing. Sometimes the universe will throw us a bone, right? Give us a little karmic reward for the things we've been through and the processes we've experienced. But also, the universe can sometimes balance the scales with a situation. And that's kind of how it felt to me. So, for better or for worse, it's like the universe was working in the background to balance the scales with something. So, just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. So, we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So, we take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Virgo. What do we got for our good friends, please? What do we got in early March for Virgo? Thank you. Cool. 6 of Swords. This seems to be a card that's been showing up quite a bit. I've been seeing it in like fire signs and air signs. The 6 of Swords is good, and if you know me, you know I like an action card in the first position, and that's what we got there. Usually that's a card of improvement. So let's keep moving. Let's see what else wants to show up here for Virgo. Thank you. Okay, so we got the Page of Swords, lots of air, and that's another theme I'm seeing with all the earth signs this week is a ton of air energy. Let's get one more. Thank you. Cool. Oh, all right. So 2 cards came out together. We got the Emperor himself chilling right there. Why are so many other people's energy showing up here for you, Virgo? Like even if you're in hermit mode yourself, I don't know why like so many other people's energies might be affecting you in this time. But you also have a bonus. We have Lady Justice that fits the exact theme of what we were talking about last week. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, I always like to look at the elements that informs us about the areas of life that could be highlighted or how the energy is moving forward. And I will say this, Virgo, the energy itself seems to be swirling quicker than most Virgos might be comfortable with. For some of you, that might be cool. It depends on your chart. But we are very much air heavy, like with the Six of Swords, the Page of Swords, and then even your bonus, that's all air energy. And we have a little bit of fire in the mix as well. Now, when it comes to air, it's the fastest moving of all the elements, whereas like you, an earth element, is grounded, sturdy, stable. There's a sense of predictability to it. Air is not so much predictable, right? It's always flowing, always going. Now, air energy does deal with the mind. It's very logical, it's very pragmatic, it's intelligent. It could speak about thought processes. Maybe some of you are thirsting for information or feeding your brain. That could be a good thing. And the swords, aka air, does also deal with communication. So, how you express yourself or communication coming your way. The downside to too much air energy, it can be a little flighty, little flights of fancy or flights of change. The air element can also be cold and detached. So, that's something to watch out for. Now, over here on the back, we got fire. And I always say when we mix air and fire together, that can be a bit of a spark plug. So we got to watch out for that. But the good thing about fire element is that it represents the realm of action, physical world action, the things we do, the actions we take, the actions other people take, the actions we decide not to take. It could be all of that. Fire deals with vitality, energy levels, health, well being. Fire is great for passion, drive, motivation, desire. But the downside to it, yeah, it's explosive. It could be a little unpredictable. Fire could take a left on you. So when we mix all this fire and air, it's like, okay, what way is this going to go? Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with the Six of Swords. And I do have to mention the fact that we got the Page of Swords, the Emperor, and even Lady Justice here. I'm picking up a lot of people's energy this week for one reason or another. So we might have to look into that further. But the Six of Swords, I like it because it's an action card. It's going. It's coming or going. It's an energy that's in flow, which I really like. Now, it can represent travel, distance, taking a little trip. So I'm not sure if any got one in the works, but I like the Six of Swords for that. And the overarching theme with this, in the classical sense, is that it represents improvement. These people are in a boat, they're coming out of the choppy waters into the calm. So it's like, okay, things are getting better, things are moving forward, things are improving. That's the real positive aspect of this. The downside, and you know me, I always like to give you both sides of the coin. Sometimes this card could be a little bit of a runner. Sometimes it could be a little flighty, where it's like, I'll worry about that later. So there could be certain things where it's like, I'll circle back on that, or yeah, I'll do that another time. It's an energy that can delay or run away. So we need to watch out for that. Or there could be someone where you feel like they're not doing what they should be doing. So we'll see. And again, it could be good. It could just be neutral action as well. So whether it's an action you take or another person. So we'll circle back on that. Moving to the middle, we have a very intriguing card, which I think was like the epicenter of one of your spreads, like 2-3 weeks ago. We got our good pal, the Page of Swords, and you see the page standing there. They got their sword up, air sign energy. So Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, potentially. If that's not the case, pages also represent younger individuals. Now, the Page of Swords, as with all pages, represents students and messengers. So to me, the Page of Swords, it's that thirsting for knowledge that we were talking about. But this one's a little different than the others. This one's a little bit more defensive. So that's why it gets called the Watcher of the Tarot deck, where it's like, I'm going to keep my eye on this person. I'm going to keep my eye on this situation. So sometimes the page will come out when there's something that Spirit wants you to pay extra close attention to or keep your eye on, or maybe you're under the microscope. That could very much be possible with this Page of Swords. The downside to pages, sometimes they could be a little shy. Sometimes the energies can suppress or push things down. So that's something to just watch out for in this time. So could this be a conversation of some sort? Maybe. Or could this be a situation or something that Spirit wants you to keep a very close eye on, or maybe someone's keeping an eye on you? Yes, that could all be in play. Now, moving to the back end, big vibe switch here when we go from a page to the Emperor. Now, for a portion of you, this could be an Aries you're connected to. Some readers also link this to Taurus. The Emperor is the king of kings. And so again, if we're not talking about a person, this could represent authority figures, shot callers, people in positions of authority, so to speak. If we're talking about an energy you're stepping into, and the Emperor gets a lot of flack sometimes, and don't get me wrong, there are some downsides to this card, but this is an energy that says, no, this is what we do, this is where we're going, this is how it's going to happen. It's very decisive about things. So, again, that could be an energy you're stepping into, or maybe Spirit wants you to be very decisive about how you move forward. But the downside to the Emperor is sometimes it could be overly controlling, very much my way or the highway. What I say goes. There's no room for discussion with the Emperor. So just watch out for that, and watch out for issues with authority figures in this time. So we'll see what's up. Now, to your bonus, we have Lady Justice on the back end. We'll just keep it brief with her. We have Libra energy, usually fair, balance. She could represent decisions, choices. She could represent legalities, legal situations, contracts, but also the universe taking that karmic wheel. Okay. And again, for some of you, you might be in a position right now where you're thinking of both sides of something, where it's like the good and the bad, the dark and the light. So I want to dive deeper on all of this, Virgo. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Six of Swords. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Virgo, could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Six of Swords. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm gonna say this little stipulation before I get into the message I'm picking up here, because this could very well be the energy of another person that I'm picking up. I connect with a lot of Virgos, not just the people I know in my personal life, but with personal sessions I do. Always connecting with Virgos, love Virgo energy. This doesn't feel like classic Virgo energy to me, because when I see the Six of Swords with strength in reverse, that's an energy that is giving up on something, where it's like, yeah, you know what, forget it. Forget it. It's like one of those. So just know there might be a situation or something, or even someone you might be dealing with, where it's like, I just can't right now. I don't have the bandwidth. There's like an overwhelmed energy I'm picking up here. So again, I'm not saying it's you. Normally, from how I've experienced Virgo energy, when you say something, you mean it. When you set out to do something, you want to achieve it. This energy is kind of bailing, where it's like, maybe I won't do this, or maybe this was the wrong path. So again, there might be little gut checks in this time with whatever it is you might be dealing with, because usually strength in the upright, to me, it represents someone's character, and not just that, it's internal strength and restraint. A lot of times it'll show up when there is something that you were trying to refrain from. When I see it in reverse underneath the Six of Swords, it's like, I'm not refraining anymore. Now, again, I'm not saying giving up on a path or giving up on something's always a bad thing. Like, sometimes it might be for the best. We'll see how the rest of the reading goes. But to me, it's like, I don't have the energy for this right now. And it's just something where there's a giving up or not resisting anymore. Okay. So there could be a thought, situation, or something where it's like, there's no point in resisting it. We're going to keep moving. That's an odd energy. Like I said, it doesn't feel like classic Virgo energy to me. And it could be like a little avoidant as well. But again, we're still here with the fire air combination, the explosiveness. So we're going to keep an eye, because just because it starts like that doesn't mean that it's going to be a warning throughout, right? That could change. Let's go in on the Page of Swords. Watch your energy levels in this time too, especially if you're feeling exhausted and stuff like that. But why is the Page of Swords here? Magician again. Cool. I like this. I really like this, actually. Now, there is something we do need to watch out for, anything regarding control, especially with the Emperor and the Magician here. And remember, we had him in the very beginning. So I'm going to give you two messages. The first one that popped into me, I really, really liked how it felt, because it's like, okay, how can I do this right? How can I, like, the energy to manifest and bring things in is super heightened in this time. So whether it's something you've already created or something that Spirit wants you to put out there so it can be delivered to you, I like that a lot. To me, it says there's a lot of energy available to you, even if you're feeling a little down, even if you're feeling a little exhausted. Page of Swords with the Magician is like, I want to be very specific about what it is I'm creating and what I'm doing. Now, The other side of the coin, remember what I was saying about the magician earlier, that sometimes it could represent illusion. So when I get the watcher of the tarot deck and the magician, this could be someone that is very much on guard, where a spirit's saying like, hey, keep an eye on this situation, take this situation seriously, or treat it as important. So there might be something that arises, or something you might have been going through that spirit wants you to keep an eye on it, or treat it seriously or in an important way. So I know that's a mixed message. So yeah, great energy for manifesting and changing outcomes, but at the same time, there is something that spirit wants you to keep a very close eye on, especially with this energy I have here in the beginning, where it's like, I'll let that slide. I'm not going to restrain anymore. This energy is like, no, keep looking at it. Let's keep going to the Emperor. We'll see with all this fire air floating around, and we'll do a quick recap. So why is the Emperor here for Virgo? Thank you. Very good result. Very, very good result. So we have the Three of Cups in the upright. This is absolutely a winner, a victory. I love the energy I'm picking up here. And there is something here about other people. I felt this for a few signs this week, where anyone that's energy sensitive, that could definitely be heightened, that could be through the roof. Um, I would be, I don't want to say cautious with social things and the people you put yourself around, but to me, I saw it in the beginning where there's like only so much social bandwidth available. So I would just be cautious about the circle around you or the people that rub off on you, so to speak. Because the Three of Cups is great. It's celebratory. Yes, win, victory, triumph. We love it. But at the same time, it's partying it up. It's social. So like when I see the Emperor with the Three of Cups, it's like, yeah, enjoy it, have a good time, but don't overdo it. So for those of you like, if you're not feeling too social, you don't have to be. I wouldn't overdo it anyway, and I would keep the circle small. That's another thing. So we have a lot of different messages here, but I will say the Emperor with the Three of Cups, either a big manifestation coming in, or this is a win. This is a win in the end. Even if you're here, even if you're not up to this journey yet, if this is the end result, this is what I like. And the Three of Cups can also be a reuniting or coming back together. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. So a lot of stuff happening here, Virgo. A lot of different things. So again, only take what's yours. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we got the Six of Swords with strength in reverse. And maybe some of you just need a little bit of a vacation. Nothing wrong with that. But the main vibe that it felt like to me is like somebody not resisting something anymore or giving up on something. So watch out for energy like that, where it's like, yeah, I just don't have the energy. Moving to the middle, we have the Page of Swords with the Magician. Great for manifesting, great for prayer and attracting things in. Really great stuff. But then there's also this other message I was picking up where there could be a situation that spirit wants you to either take seriously, keep a close eye on it, or treat it as important. Where it's like, no, this should be on your focus. Like, don't just ignore it. This should be in your focus. Moving to the back end, I love the result that we get, because we have the Emperor with the Three of Cups. So beautiful. Win, victory, triumph, whatever we want to call it. Something going your way. And then especially with the control aspects, to me, it feels like a big manifestation coming in. But I also got this other message about like limiting the circle around you, or like being social but not too social. So only take that for whatever it's worth, especially if your energy levels are off. But please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for Virgo. And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got? Okay. Nine of Cups, cool. So even in the shadows, it's like we have a happy ending here, which is good. Even though like the reading itself wasn't like picture perfect, where we're working towards is really good. And this does kind of reinforce one of the little warnings I had within the reading itself. Now, the Nine of Cups is one of the cards of wish fulfillment. So the best possible case scenario when this shows up in the shadows, it's like you don't even know what's lined up for you. You got something big coming in, which I think is great. But the downside to the Nine of Cups, sometimes it could be a little overindulgent. This is another one of the cards of partying, very similar to the Three of Cups. So when this card shows up, it's like limit yourself, enjoy yourself, but not too much. There's something here about having limits with something. All right. And there could be a temptation to overindulge. And again, no judgment here, but that's just what's showing up here in the shadows. For another portion of you, Spirit might be asking you to not be too nice, where it's like be nice, but don't be too nice. There's this odd energy that's like limiting something. So we're just going to leave it at that, Virgo. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the March subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight into your situation and you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The March calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the March subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 subscribers to win either a copy of the Everyday Witches Tarot, beautiful deck, or a handmade crystal pendant, which I showcase at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, what zodiac signs do you get along best with? Which ones are your favorite? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.